Here we are talking about humility at a Donald Trump rally. Why are we doing that? Why should I read that? You have to keep watching the video to find out.
Hey guys, welcome back to Why Should I Read That? I'm John, and today we're talking about something that I'm a little scared to talk with you guys about, because I think as soon as someone claims to know about humility, they've immediately disqualified themselves from having anything significant to say on that. So let me just say I'm a prideful person, and I know that C.J. Mahaney, the author of this book, would say he's a prideful person, and Donald Trump is also definitely a prideful person. But you probably knew that one already. So, as mentioned in the intro, I was at a Donald Trump rally tonight, and I went there specifically because I knew I was doing this video on humility. So before we get into the video, I'm going to quick set it up for you. We're going to talk about our culture's definition of humility and pride, and we'll talk a little bit about being others focused and learning about cultivating humility. And finally, I'll give you 5 specific ways that you can cultivate humility in your life throughout the day at the end of the video. So let's jump into it. Our culture's definition of humility is something that is absolutely the negative image of Donald Trump. Now, Donald Trump is a man who is glorified in his own personal power, and he's brash, he's outspoken, he says what he wants, and people are drawn to that in a certain sense. And he's kind of the negative image of a humble person. He's even said in one of the debates, if he was president, his code name would be Humble. And now that got an uproarious laugh from the crowd because they all knew that Donald Trump is really the antithesis of humility. And no one, people just realize that. On the other hand, Jesus Christ, whether you're a Christian or not, is a fantastic example of humility. No other person has had such an impact on the world as Jesus Christ. And if anyone deserved a bit of pride, it was him. But we read in Phillippians 2, verse 8, that he humbled himself to death, even death on a cross. Death by Roman crucifixion was something that was just a cultural degradation, something that person had absolutely no respect left for them in the culture. They were stripped naked, they were beaten, they were put to death publicly. And Jesus Christ humbled himself to that. Now, I'm not saying that you and I need to be put to death in order to demonstrate our humility. No, I'm not saying that. But C.J. Mahaney on page 22 of this book says that true humility is agreeing with God in an honest assessment of our state of degradation, because we can never measure up to God's absolute standard of perfection. Now, you don't need to have religion in order to understand the attractiveness of humility. No one likes to be around an arrogant turd for too long. So let's talk about learning about that humility, that mindset, now that we've defined it a little bit. In this book, it's said in a myriad different ways, but I'm going to say it to you one way. You need to be others focused. Now, that happens in a lot of different ways throughout the book, but you need to be others focused. Take the focus off of yourself and put it on others, whether that's being accountable to others, whether that's talking to others, whether that's speaking well of others, or whether it's being thankful for the things that others have done for you. You need to be others focused. So again, I can't overstate the importance of cultivating humility in your lives, which is what we're going to talk about next, these 5 ways that you can cultivate humility. But John Stott, before we get there, John Stott on page 64 of this book says that at every point in your walk, specifically as a Christian, every point in your walk, pride is your greatest enemy and humility is your greatest ally. So here are the 5 ways that we can that I'm going to point out from this book. There are quite a few more. Half of this 120-page book is devoted to different ways that we cultivate humility. And Mahaney breaks them up into things that you can do in the morning, things you should do all of the time, things you do specifically in the evening, things that you work on with other people, that sort of thing. So here are 2 from the morning. First of all, I'm a little biased on this one because I already do it, so I can point to effects that it's had in my life. Maybe that's prideful, but I don't know, I'm making the video. So first of all, express gratitude for things that you're thankful for right away in the morning. I do this by writing down 3 things that I'm thankful for in a little journal on my bedside every morning. And what I can tell you is that it changes my perspective on the day because it starts my day with things that I'm already thankful for. It's great to put yourself in that headspace right away in the morning. Several videos ago, back in Attitude is Everything, I said I was going to start doing it. I can attest, it's going good. I like it, and I recommend it to everyone who's watching this. Second of all, Mahaney says you need to seize the commute. You've heard of carpe diem, this would be carpe commute. Seize the commute. Stop worrying about the traffic jam or all of the terrible things that your boss might say to you later in the day. Take that time to be others focused. Think about things that you're thankful for and cultivate an attitude of gratitude on your commute. Another one in the evening is to be thankful for the gift of sleep. Sleep is something that points to our fallible nature every single night. You and I are not robots. We have to take time to put ourselves into a state of renewal. And it's a reminder that we are not self-sufficient every single night. And if you frame it that way in your mind, every time you go to sleep, you're reminded and you're put in a humble state before you go to bed. And remember, you can do it right again when you wake up. So again, as I mentioned before, our 4th one here is be others focused. Now, and there are a number of ways that this plays out. One of the greatest ones is to point out ways that people are improving, whether it's in work, whether it's in their relationships, a family that you're a part of. Be others focused and point out things that they are doing well. Finally, guys, this one's great. I really enjoyed reading about this one. It's play a lot of golf. So CJ Mahaney says, unless you're Tiger Woods, by the way, if Tiger Woods is watching this, how's it going, Tiger? And thanks for learning about humility. But unless you're Tiger Woods, every time you swing that golf club, you're probably reminded, I'm not the greatest at golf. And you are constantly reminded and put in a humble state because you sliced it off into the rough again. How dare you? Of course, I'm terrible at golf, so it's a great lesson in humility for me. But those are the 5 ways, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, you brought value from it. I encourage you to go check it out. There's so many more ways to cultivate humility. And again, caveat, I'm not saying I'm very good at any of them, but I encourage you guys to go check it out. No one likes to spend time with an arrogant turd. All right, catch you next week for episode, I think like 30. Man, it's crazy to think that there's already 30 episodes. We'll see you later. Subscribe on Facebook, or subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, all that good stuff. It's a lot of fun. I will see you next week.